glory. We the Ambazonia, special loyalty. Praise to our Savior who granted us the freedom. Allegiance to the hero, for God alone we gather. Glory to glory, we rise and never to fall. Here in a nation, flowing with the holy. Glory, glory, glory to the Father, for making you a nation, a joy forevermore. Ambazonia, land of freedom, you shall live in plenty, meeting our need. And your children shall be like the stars above. The Most High God being the watchman of this nation. Ambazonia, land of freedom, you shall live in plenty, meeting our need. And your children shall be like the stars above. The Most High God being the watchman of this nation.
Fellow countrymen, women, children, girls, boys, and fathers, good evening in Ground 0, Ground 1, Ground 2, and Ground 3. Good evening in Europe, good afternoon in the US, and good night in Asia. You're all welcome to this solemn occasion to address our people on some pertinent issues that surround our quest for freedom. I salute you all. Salama for all man. I am your humble servant, Dr. Julius Nyih, the Vice President of the Ambazonian Governing Council. I wish to begin by extending 21-gun salute to the brave civilians, to the brave self-defense forces across the territory of Ambaland. Your steadfastness, your proactive actions, your offensive approach, and your determination to protect our civilian population has reduced the occupational forces, occupational administrators, and those enablers of occupation to a state of low morale. You have witnessed your achievements throughout 2025 with brave hearts, with great tenacity, and with a resolve to hand over Ambazonia to the next generation better than you had inherited. I also extend warm salutations to all the incarcerated, both in the dungeons of La Republique and outside in the diaspora, particularly to Dr. Cho Lucas Ayaba, to Siseko Ayuk Tabi, the Nera 10, the Calabar 8, and all other Ambazonians that have been incarcerated directly or indirectly related to our quest for freedom. Know that you are paying the price that others have paid. The reward would be priceless when your freedom comes. I can also assure you that both the Ambazonian Governing Council and the interim government of Siseko Ayuk Tabi are working hand in glove to make sure that the day of your freedom is nearer. I can also assure you that the tides are changing in your favor. The day of your freedom is coming closer. I also extend great seasonal salutations to the internally displaced, to the refugees in Africa and other parts of the world. The day that you would go back home are drawing closer, because what we wanted the regime to do, what we wanted the colonial apparatus in Yaoundé to do, has finally started. We wanted infighting. We wanted to engineer unrest in its economic, political, and social sphere. That has started. And in a matter of time, we will see that regime finally collapse. A colonial regime that has taunted our people for 64 years and counting cannot be uprooted in a single day. That is why Dr. Cho Lucas Ayaba initiated the triad approach. And that triad approach is the golden gateway to the freedom of the Ambazonian people, for emulation by other freedom fighters and other entrenched people in colonial apparatus to use for their own freedom. My country people, the colonial regime in Yaoundé is collapsing. Throughout 2025, through your civil disobedience, through the valiant forces, through engineering unrest within their ranks, you can finally see how both their political, both their civilian, both their economic and military structures and systems are slowly degenerating into chaos, and they cannot handle. Lest you forget, some of the inroads you have made in 2025. One, you have reduced Cameroon's financial ability to fund the war through economic sabotage, through increasing the cost of occupation, through less food and less resources going to Cameroon, and also through your direct rejection of Cameroon services and products to a great extent. You have made Cameroon to become a laughingstock in international financial markets. Cameroon can no more raise funds. Cameroon has been shut the door in terms of financial access to funds in the international markets. Cameroon has now resorted to borrowing, even to install CCTV cameras in its own cities. Cameroon has resorted to borrowing to buy a simple generator. Cameroon's cities are filled with dirt. Cameroon, its own cities, are going without lights for days, weeks. And you think Cameroon will be able to reconstruct Ambazonia after it burned down villages, it destroyed schools and homes. It sends its apologies in the name of elites to come and blindfold you that they are engaging in reconstruction, to come and blindfold you that they will compensate you if your house was burnt. Cameroon is unable to reconstruct its cities. Cameroon is unable to get garbage out of the cities and neighborhoods in its own regions. talk less of reconstructing Ambazonia. Every scheme that the colonial regime has enacted has failed, from the Bilingualism Commission, from the DDR centers, from return to normalcy to re-return to normalcy to national dialogue. All of them have failed. Second, you have made Cameroon in 2025 to accept that negotiations are the only way to solve the crisis. That negotiations are the only way to bring an end to the war that was declared by Paul Biya. Fellow Ambazonians, the bringing of the incarcerated in the dungeons of La République to the Supreme Court is the first step in pursuing that elusive dialogue that they had refused. It is the first step of their overt acceptance of coming to negotiation table. It is the first step in accepting that the form of the state is up for discussion. Lest you forget, 7 years, 8 years, 9 years, 10 years, 30 years, up to now, Cameroon had refused that there was any problem in between Ambazonia and La République. Cameroon had refused that Ambazonia had an issue with the form of the state as it was agreed in 1961. But in the last 2 months, Cameroon has finally accepted that the form of the state is up for negotiation. They have not only accepted that the form of the state is up for negotiation, they have started toting around the notion of federation. I wish to tell Cameroon, we have passed the junction of federation. We are a free people. Come on the negotiation table to negotiate your exit from Ambazonia. You can federate with the regions of La République du Cameroun. You cannot federate with Ambazonia. The era of discussing federation has long passed, when you buried your heads in the sand and they're going to erase the 2 cubes of sugar in 2 weeks. We are 9 years and counting into the 10th year of this war that you declared. And our valiant soldiers in the last month alone have made sure that at least 2 colonial military personnel are deleted per day. And that is the cost that the sons and daughters of Cameroon civilians are paying for an elusive colonialism in Ambazonia, for an elusive subjugation of the Ambazonian people. French Cameroon military are not dying for patriotism. They are dying to save the octogenarian president. They are dying for the continual presidency of the corrupt, the senile Paul Biya. Fellow countrymen and women, throughout 2025, you have yearned for collaboration. I can assure you that in the last 2 months, under the directions of Dr. Cho Lucas Ayaba and Siseko Ayuk Tabi, the Ambazonian Governing Council and the interim government have engaged in collaborative efforts, specifically in diplomacy. We've jointly pursued diplomatic overtures, and the results will be palpable in the very near future. We have also engaged in legal, in political, and in the self-defense realms. That is why you find the results on ground zero, on the diaspora, so appealing. And if you think that is what we are all about, no, that is just the tip of the iceberg. In the coming months, we will show you the depth of collaboration in the triad approach as envisaged by the leaders of the two movements. In the next months, you will witness the solidification of all the different facets of the Ambazonian War of Liberation. I wish to sincerely thank the expert teams within the two movements that are working hard behind the scenes in order to ensure that this collaborative effort finally delivers. We have heard you ground zero, and we are moving in the right direction to make sure that your aspirations are achieved. In terms of diplomacy in 2025, through our lobbying effort, through our backroom connections, and through our seat on the table to discuss Ambazonia, we've been able to sanitize the diplomatic and the international diplomacy arena by discarding all those who were posturing for Ambazonia, by discarding multiple narratives and conflicting narratives about the Ambazonian cause. I can assure you that we have made sure that there is only one narrative, and that the international scene, the diplomatic corps internationally, has a singular message with regards to the root causes of the Ambazonian War of Liberation, as regards to the aspiration of the Ambazonian people. This is thanks to the effort of the Ambazonian Governing Council, but also in collaboration with the interim government. I can also assure you that Cameroon has indicated its willingness to negotiate. But we have told Cameroon negotiations will be an international issue in a neutral ground, facilitated and monitored by the international community. Those are the minimum that Cameroon must sign up to. In addition, Cameroon must overtly declare its intention to negotiate. We have told them anything short of this, we think Cameroon is just bluffing, and Cameroon might just be playing to the gallery as they had done before in Canada, in Switzerland. Ambazonia is always ready to negotiate with Cameroon how it exits its forces and its colonial administrator from Ambazonia. One thing is for sure, Cameroon will not dictate the rules of the game again. Cameroon is facing the heat, particularly after the stolen elections. However they do it, one thing is for sure, whether Biya or Chiruma, they will have to negotiate their exit. Through our backroom negotiations, we have vehemently told Chiruma and the recent endeavor by Atanganji and his cabal to divide Ambazonia further, to divide our people based on some concocted colonial administrative units, that it is not going to work. We will resist that vehemently. We will resist it in our diplomatic sphere. We will defeat it in self-defense posture. We will defeat such divide and rule tactics through our civil disobedience. My country people, This is the never again generation that has rewritten the history books. We were never given a chance to rise, but through your collaborative efforts between the civilian, between the self-defense forces, and the diaspora, we have brought Cameroon to the point where they have started contemplating the form of the state. Lest you forget, their form of the state is to divide Cameroon into 8 federal regions and Ambazonia into 2 federal regions. Those regions will never hold under the leadership of Dr. Cholu Kasayaba and Siseko Ayuk Tabi. The constitution proposed by Chiruma is a non-starter. The current maneuvers by the regime in the background do not hold any sway either. We are aware of the new dispensation of their colonial Ministry of Territorial Administration in order to hook-wing Ambazonia again by dividing the people of the erstwhile Southern Cameroons. My fellow people, in 2026, it will be a defining moment. 2026 will usher in a new avenue for us to finally discuss the terms of separation with Cameroon. Cameroon is on the back foot because it has refused to heed to its own internal advice. It has refused to heed to the call by its political elites for genuine negotiations with Ambazonia. Cameroon is at the crossroads. Cameroon will fail. Cameroon will disintegrate, as Honorable Weber said, if they fail to resolve the Ambazonia issue. Cameroon is on course to disintegrate because of the hot potato that you are, the Ambazonian people. In 9 years, you have proven through Contre Sundays, you have proven through lockdowns that you do not answer to Yaoundé. You answer to the Ambazonian people itself. You have shown through your determination, although La République du Cameroun citizens tried to copy your lockdowns for 3 days and they couldn't sustain it, that you are in for the long fight. And I have bad news for Cameroon. At the onset of the war you declared on us, we envisage 40 years to uproot you. Now we have downgraded to less than half of that time, because in the last 9 years, we have achieved what other revolutions take 20, 25 years to achieve. I also have another bad news for you. While the morale within your fighting forces, the bees, the gendarmes, the colonial police, is running low, the determination, the zeal for freedom within the Ambazonian forces, within the Ambazonian civilians and civil apparatuses, is at all-time high. That is why we are able to engage in back-to-back hit on your forces with detrimental results, as you've seen in the last 1 month. Fellow countrymen and women, Cameroon has not yet seen what is in store for them. I know the forces and the civilians are on alert, especially during this festive season, but also for the appropriate time when we will initiate the takeover. Once the War Council and the collaborative council between the AG of C and the IG determines that the indices are ripe, we will initiate. All the plans have been worked. Everything has been put in place to make sure that we seize the opportunity when the moment presents itself. The cabal in Yaoundé, which is not legitimate anyway, is working day in, day night so that Ambazonia should provide it legitimacy. They want Ambazonia to talk with them without fulfilling the minimum conditions as I told you. But we are in no rush. Ambazonia is our land. It is more expensive for them to fight a war abroad. It has become even more expensive for them to buy the equipment and the resources to fund the war because of the increased cost of occupation, because of our lobbying to block them out of the financial system, the international financial system. And I can tell you that Cameroon is running low on supplies. Cameroon is unable to fight because its forces are realizing the hook that they were deceived to get into, because the forces are realizing that they are running low and the regime is unable to meet the obligations of running a war outside of its own country. Dear Albalanders, as Christmas comes, I'll ask you to celebrate solemnly. I'll ask you to be at alert, to look after each other, to look after your families, but always know that at this time, the regime that is a bloodsucker is out to cause maximum pain on our people. So I'll call on you all to be at alert at all times. I will call on all the forces to celebrate solemnly, but with caution. I will ask the civilian population to celebrate, to move with caution as well. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year in advance, and I will talk to you in New Year on the strategies for 2026. God bless Ambazonia, God bless the land of honey, and God bless its people. Hail, hail, this land of glory.
Glory, we the Ambazonians pledge our loyalty. Praise to our Savior who granted us the freedom. Allegiance to the hero who fought the lonely gather. Glory to glory, we rise and never to fall. Here in a nation flowing with the holy. Glory, glory, glory to the Father for making you a nation, a joy forevermore. Ambazonia, land of freedom, you shall live in plenty in our need, and your children shall be like the stars above. The Most High God be the watchman of this nation. Ambazonia, land of freedom, you shall live in plenty in our need, and your children shall be like the stars above. The Most High God be the watchman of name.